Well, happy Wednesday to you. I'm Angie Claude, and I welcome you to our Wednesday yoga class. Always remember in this practice or in any other yoga practice that you assume or that you take part in, to make sure that nothing ever feels like pain or strain. In fact, anything that you do, you should not be feeling pain or strain. If you're feeling pain, something is wrong. It's the body's way of telling you, don't do that. So feeling challenged, feeling like you're strengthening yourself, that's one thing. But pain and strain should not be anywhere in your exercise routine or really anything you do. But anyway, that being said, we want to come to that comfortable place, that place where we can settle, maybe kind of rock back and forth on your sit bones. Just allow your body to be molded by the mat or the surface that you've assumed. And just let your arms relax at your side, whether you're sitting or lying down, either is fine. Let's start with the top of the head and just scan as you move down through the body, noticing where any tension may be, any tightness, any fatigue, any injury. And if a certain area stops you and calls out and says that there's an issue, then take a deep breath. As you release that breath, visualize that place relaxing and releasing the strain, the pain, injury. Starting to become mindful of areas that might have some tenseness or tightness or strain. And then bringing your attention to your breath, really noticing where the breath comes in, where it travels, and then where it leaves the body. All of us breathe differently. So notice, does it come in through the abdomen, through the chest, the throat, the mouth, the nares? Where does it travel? Maybe the top of the head. And then release that breath. Notice where it leaves. Notice where it travels. Maybe it comes all the way down into the legs, and enters or exits the tips of the toes. So we become very connected as we draw attention to the body. Noticing the body, noticing the breath. Also noticing the mind. What are you thinking at this very moment? And the heart. What are your emotions? What's the mood that you have right now? Maybe gently turning the palms so that they face skyward. And beginning to notice that energy circling just above the palm. Noticing how it grows stronger the more attention you bring towards it. And being very aware that this is not only energy that's coming from you and leaving you, but also energy that you are receiving from things, people, objects. Take the next few moments just to be still, to be aware. Bring your hands to heart center. Take a deep breath in. When you release that breath, let go of ego, of competition, anything that will keep you from truly enjoying this practice. Take another deep breath in, and as you do, bring the hands and the arms skyward, reaching with fingers, softening through shoulders. Breathe. Maybe rotate through the wrist here. Maybe bring your gaze skyward, always remembering that when we are practicing and we bring our gaze skyward or we change our gaze in any way, it's going to challenge you with your balance. Take another deep breath in, and as you breathe out, keeping the hips focused forward, twist gently to the right, bring the right arm back behind you, the left arm perched onto the right knee. Your Ardha Matsyendrasana, your half spinal twist. Taking another deep breath in, bring the arms back skyward. And now as you exhale, twisting gently to the left. Again, always keeping the hips focused forward so that we don't compromise that lumbar spine. Drawing that left shoulder back so that we open up and stretch through the chest here. Remembering that the more the hand that's on the mat, the deeper the stretch. So if my fingertips are on the mat, not as quite as deep a stretch as if my whole hand is pressing down into the mat or the floor. Ardha Matsyendrasana. And then lifting back up, a nice deep breath in. And as I breathe out this time, I just bring both arms back behind me, open up through the entire chest here, shoulder blades reaching towards one another. Relax through your hips and knees. So be very mindful as you go through your practice, again, of holding tension. We want to have good tension, but we don't want to have bad, obviously. So if you're holding a certain part of the body tight or tense that you don't need to, you become aware of that, then release through that area. Now come forward with the arms as you round through the back, coming into your cat. So we left our cow pose, our seated cow pose. Now we come into our seated cat, rounding through the back, driving the navel back towards the spine. The head and neck relaxes and releases. Again, the hips release as well. Breathe. And then we come into a flow. We inhale into cow and exhale into cat. Again, inhale cow and exhale into cat. Really important to keep these back and chest muscles strong. Most of us tend to, especially with age, kind of round through the back, and we want to keep these muscles strong so that we can lift and lengthen, not only because it looks better to have a good posture, but it's much more functionally sound. The lungs have more surface area to breathe. It's better for the body, for the structural part of the body not to be compromised. Last time, inhale cow and exhale cat. Nice. Now, I want you to bring the left leg back behind you and leave the right out in front, making 90-degree angles with both if you can. So I'm bringing this left leg back, again, right leg in front of me. My fingertips are here on my right side, and I'm going to turn them towards the back of the room. And if I can, I want to press the whole palm down, but if that's not available to you, then just stay up on the fingertips. But that's a great stretch of the wrist as well. And then I want to come forward. So the more I lean into keeping the back long and pressing the chest into that inner thigh, it's a great stretch of the hip area there. If I pull that left arm back and kind of hover a little bit with that instead of putting weight into it, then I'm utilizing my core even more. Anytime we hover or take weight off of a limb, we're really going to use the core. But the more I come forward here, and I can even challenge a bit by coming a little bit over to the left so that I'm more over the shin, actually. And then I feel that deeper up into the outer portion of the leg, the outside of the hip there. And then I lift back up. Same thing on the opposite side. It may feel very slight, but such a great way to really kind of warm up those hips and open them up. Again, a 90-degree angle in both legs. Some may call this the 90-90 stretch. Left hand to the left side, fingertips behind you, pressing that chest over that inner thigh here on the left leg now. Head and neck relaxed, core is tight. Maybe I lift up the right arm now. And again, if I wanted to challenge, I'm going to come down a little more and even over to the right a little more. But remember, this is your practice, your time, your body. Do what feels good to you. We're not here to look like one another. We're here to learn about our bodies and to do what's good for us, for each one of us. Okay, lift on back up here and go ahead and come to your tabletop. So I want to have my hands underneath my shoulders, my knees are underneath my hips. I want to rock gently back and forth a time or two, maybe pressing the hip out to one side and then the other, really feeling that stretch along the oblique. And all the while noticing the weight in the hands. This is really important because weight bearing is really beneficial to our bones. It helps us to build density, to make our bones thicker and stronger. I move that left knee in just a tad and my right leg extends out and lengthens. And though my shoulders stay right over my hands, I'm really reaching the toes out. So it's a long stretch for the leg. And I want to avoid drawing the body back. So keep the shoulders over the hands. And then I want to lift that hip without changing anything else. I'm lifting that right hip so that my navel is starting to look to the right side of the room. You should feel this all the way up into the gluteus, head and neck relaxed, breathe. And then bring that hip back down. If you can and you want to challenge, bring that right leg over to the right and hover. Again, trying not to lean to the left. This is your awkward airplane. And back. One more time, lift that hip, turn that navel towards the right. You can look up that way too, or you can keep your head focused to the mat. This is very focused, the abdominal area, and up into the hip and the gluteus. And then bring that hip back down again. Maybe once again, I want to come to that awkward airplane. Really using my core to stay balanced here and releasing back. Go ahead and assume your child's pose, Balasana. So I ease back so that my sit bones are resting on the tops of my heels. My back is long, my arms are long. I walk my fingertips out as far as I can so that I can feel that deep stretch through the arms, through the back. And when I plant the palms, then I draw the body back without moving the palms, and I feel that good stretch. This is the place we say we honor the body. So if anytime you need to rest during the practice, come here. Now come back on up. Now we do the opposite side. So my right knee comes in, my left leg extends out. And first it's just that nice long leg lift. I'm extending the toes out without drawing the body back. And then I rotate, lifting that left hip. Navel looking towards the left. Keep the weight in the hands, head and neck relaxed. Breathe. Release back down. Maybe that awkward airplane, drawing that left leg to the left. Keeping my balance, keeping my form, and back. Same thing, lift that hip. Really feeling that hip as you twist. Feel the muscles in the back, feel muscles in the upper portion of the leg up into the gluteus, and press the hip bone back down. Maybe come into that awkward airplane once again. And back. Another child's pose. Again, remember, you don't need me to say come to child's pose. When you need to come here, come. Now from my child's pose, I want to lift my sit bones up and I want to flow forward, squeezing through the gluteus, lifting through the back here into my king cobra. Remember, king cobra is a back strengthener. There's a lot of weight here. My body weight is being held up, especially my upper body weight, by my hands. So if this bothers your hands, you can always make a fist, or you can lower down or not do the posture at all. So modify as needed. If I curl through my toes and push against the balls of my feet and press my heels down, lift my hips up and push my hands against the mat, that pushing down of the hands and heels and lifting up of the hips, that resistance helps me really feel a great stretch up the legs down the back, down the arms, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. If I lift my left leg, I'm in my three-legged dog, and I don't mind how far the leg lifts or doesn't lift. It doesn't matter. This is not a competition. When I come down into my plank, I can keep that leg lifted to challenge if I choose. But if that's too much, of course, I can set that leg down. I can set my knees down if I need to. If I need a little more challenge, I bring that knee in and twist and bring it over to that right elbow. And drive it back up. Three-legged dog. Breathe. Release that leg down. Go ahead and bend one knee and then the other. Walking your dog. Maybe you want to roll the foot all the way over so that you make contact with the top of the foot to the mat. A great stretch of the feet. We always forget to stretch our feet. And then the opposite side, our right leg climbs skyward into our three-legged dog. We can rotate through that ankle while we're up there. We can flow forward into a one-legged plank. We can set that leg down. We can challenge with the elbow to the left knee. So remember, you can make this as challenging or as simple as you choose. Right leg climbs skyward, three-legged dog. Breathe. Keep your breath flowing. Do not hold your breath. Lower the right leg. Softly walk the feet forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. So in your forward fold, we keep our back. Drive the crown of the head forward. The back long and keep the weight in the down in the knee, long back. Inhale, the hands to the shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, the hands down, forward fold. Inhale, the left foot back and the right, downward facing dog. Exhale, flow forward to a plank, half or full. Inhale, lifting to that king cobra. Exhale, coming back to your plank. Knees down or knees up. Inhale, lift your down dog. Exhale, softly walk the feet forward, forward fold. Inhaling your slow reverse swan dive. Exhale the hands, the heart center. Once again, assume mountain pose, Tadasana. Allowing your hands, your arms to rest to your side, feeling that energy. Taking note. It's an assessment, really. It's a checking in of how you're doing. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Energy. Energy. What is that energy that you feel above the hands? How does it feel? So we come to our feet being a little more than hip width apart. We settle down into a squat. We do that just like we're setting into a chair. So we're pushing our sit bones back and down. And yes, you should just about tip back because you want that much weight in your heels. So your toes are lifted. You can wiggle them fairly easily. Your core is tight. I'm not leaning forward so much to come down as I am pressing my sit bones back and down. And then I want to pick up my left foot and bring it back behind me. I can keep it long, getting a good stretch if I do. If I want to challenge, I can bend. So now I have that 90-degree angle in both legs again. Knee on top of foot, hip on top of knee. Bring your arms back behind your head gently. We're never pulling or pushing on the head. We're just grounding there or just kind of anchoring there. So have your shoulders relaxed, but your elbows drawn back. And then slightly come down. Doesn't matter how far. Come down that front and come back up. Notice balance. Notice the need for weight. I come down, tight core. I lift up. Down, don't hold your breath. Left elbow to right knee and come up. Couple more. Coming down, slow and controlled, tight core, front, and come up. Notice how you have to really ground through that front foot and maybe even energize by thinking of dialing out. A lot of balance here, a lot of strength work. One more time. Down. And up. Nice job. Raise those arms skyward. Come to your Uttanasana, chair pose. It's like I'm getting ready to sit in the chair. Release the arms down, press the sit bones down, fingers come as close as you can to the mat, and then come back up. Again, arms come down, press the sit bones back and down, keep those knees on top of the feet, come back up. Again, tight core. Now, if you're new to class or if you haven't been doing a lot of squats, don't worry, do what you can, stop and start when you need to. The squats are so beneficial, doing these muscles where we are using these muscles where we come down and get back up, whether it's a seated position or close to it. Something we're going to want to do for a long time. We're going to want to be able to reach down and pick stuff off the floor and come back up. So really important for us to practice. One more time. Down. Up. Nice. Bring the right foot now behind you. It's a long stretch or a deep bend. You choose. Hands gently again behind the neck. So again, I'm never pulling or pushing on the head at all. I want to make sure I have good form. So knee on top of foot, push into that foot, energize it by in the mind thinking that you're turning the big toe to the pinky, but really you're not moving the foot at all. But you feel that knee slightly shift and then come down. Now, if you don't come all the way to the knee, that's fine. And come up. Maybe you're just new to this and you're slightly coming down and back up. There's a lot of balance work here. Again, a lot of strength, flexibility, a lot going on here in this position. The sequence. Tight core, long back. Tight core. When you come down, push back up from that foot. Make sure you keep the breath flowing. Don't hold your breath. Take your time, bend, crunch, lift, lengthen. 3 more. Bend, crunch. So notice how you're really using your weight. You're really using your strength. Stay balanced. Last one. Down and up. Nice job. Arms come skyward. Woo. Yes, should feel that. Bring your hands to heart center. Pick up your left knee. Maybe the toes stay close to the mat. Maybe you're able to pick them up. Maybe you can come to that piriformis squat. Always keeping the knee on top of the foot on that leg you're on, pressing the sit bones back and down. Maybe extending the arms out, coming a little lower. Breathe. And coming back up, Uttanasana, chair pose. Same thing on the other side. Hands to heart center. Now it's the right leg that lifts. And again, maybe I'm not lifting the whole leg off the floor. Maybe my toes stay close. Maybe I just barely have it lifted and I'm staying there. Maybe I want to move on to that piriformis squat. Maybe I want to extend the arms out. So you know where you need to stop or start. And back up. Nice. Full body stretch. Come nice. Full body stretch. Reaching with fingers, softening with shoulders, maybe a slight bend in the back if that feels good. But whenever you bend your back, you want to squeeze your gluteus. And hands married at heart center. Take a moment once again. How do you feel after that? Where did your thoughts go? What emotions did that bring up? How does that energy feel? Moving into a sun salutation, Surya Namaskar. Arms to the side. Swan diving down, forward fold. Tight core, long back, slight bend in the knee. Bring the hands to the shins, Ardha Uttanasana. Press the hands back down. It's your right knee that pulls into the chest, your right leg extends out behind you, runner's lunge. Knee on top of foot, always. Remember, always have joint on top of joint. And so first I make sure that I'm structurally sound by having joint on top of joint. Then maybe I spin the foot out in my mind, energize, really plant weight, really think about externally rotating. Then I lift up my hands and I notice my core. I know that I need to relax through my head and neck because my core got tight, other parts of the body said, okay, maybe I need to get tight too. But you don't need that frustration in your face. You don't need tenseness in your neck. Then you push from the foot on skyward. High lunge. Now, once again, strength, balance, and flexibility. Going to come down. Set the right hand right beside the left foot, as low as I can, or close there too. And then come back up. High lunge. Now, I can do all this with that right knee down on the mat. So if I wanted to be in a half lunge or a lower lunge to do this sequence, I can. Tight core coming down, push through the foot. Coming up, a lot of balance. Stretch. And slowly come down. Again, practicing coming down to the floor and coming back up, something we want to do. We're well into our 90s or 100s, yes? And then spin the back foot out. We'll find our warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Arms are no higher than shoulders. We're relaxed through the shoulders. We're reaching out through the fingers. Back foot determines the comfort of your knee. So if your knee feels kind of contorted or torqued, then just turn the foot out of it. So always modify as you need to. Nice. Now go ahead and spin so that you're on the long angle of your mat. You have a nice wide V. And then tight through your core, long through your back, ease the body down. Now maybe I keep my hands on my legs so that I can put some weight into them. Maybe I'm able to dangle them over the mat. Maybe I need to put weight into them. But remember, the less weight you put into them, the more you're going to utilize the core. Relax through your head and neck. Nice relaxed expression on your face. Go ahead and turn your fingertips towards the back and bring the hands way back behind you. And then press that chest towards the arms. And the more you bend through the elbows, the deeper the stretch. And again, you're taking weight off the arms. When you bend through those elbows, you're taking weight off the hands. So you feel that a little more in the core. You feel that good deep stretch of the hamstring. If you're able, you can take the left hand behind the left foot, the right behind the right, and really get a deep stretch in the hamstring. Really important for us to keep these hamstrings strong and flexible. They do tug on those lower back muscles, and real often we think that we have back issues and it's our hamstrings. Okay, come on back up. Slow and controlled. Turn through that front foot, and you found your warrior two once again. And we lift the arms up and rotate through to the left without changing our feet. We do that, we come into warrior one. So we kept those warrior legs, and really we just rotated slightly to the left. And when you did that, you really stretched that hip flexor, that psoas muscle. So important to keep healthy. Very, very important to stretch like this after you set for long periods of time. Pick up your back heel and turn your toes to look at the top of the mat, and then set that heel down. Slowly come down. So again, working balance, working strength, working flexibility. Step the left foot back to the right. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Remember, you can bend through one knee and then the other. You can bend the knees together. Whatever you wish here in your down dog. Go ahead and flow forward to a plank. You can stay here in your plank. You can come to a side plank. And you may want to be in a full side plank, such as this. You may need to set your knee down to be in a half plank. You can still challenge there by lifting a leg. Your choice. Your practice, your body. Joint on top of joint. So always hand over shoulder, over shoulder, over hand. And release back down to your plank. Lift back up to your down dog. Breathe. So again, if you move into something that doesn't feel good, ease out or modify. This is not a competition, not even with you. Come down to a plank again, maybe hold here, maybe set your knees down. Maybe bring the right hand in and rotate to the left. Your full plank on the right now. Maybe you need to set that right knee down. 2. And release back to your plank and lift up. Down dog. We started with the right leg, so we end with the right leg. It lifts skyward. We bring the knee in. We step the foot forward. Lift and place. Find that structurally sound form. Knee right on top of foot. So if you need to grab onto the ankle and bring it forward, do it. Remember, knee on top of foot, then dial the foot out in your mind, then pick up the hands. Feel that weight, feel that strength being built all the way up the leg. Then come on up. Your high lunge. Flow and control. Left arm now down. It steps beside the right foot. Just coming to a lunge basically, and then lifting back up. If you can, try not to push off that hand when you come up. We don't want to launch when we're coming up. We don't want momentum to help us coming up. We want to pick up the hand if we can and push from the foot, building muscle, building strength. Do this slow. We want to fatigue the muscle. That's where we build strength. Slow coming up, slow coming down. Once more, lift up, high lunge. And lower down. Low lunge. Nice. We come on up this time and we revolve the arms around, spinning the foot out, coming to our warrior 2. So, again, those warrior legs, your front bent knee on top of your foot. Back foot is at an angle that is comfortable to your knee. The arms, reaching out with fingers, softening the shoulders. You should be at a point where you feel like you could be here for 10 or 15 minutes, right? Because you're reaching with your fingers. You're not reaching out with your shoulders. That would be strained. Very quickly, you'd want to release down. Now, if you're new to yoga, if you're new to Warrior 2, you might need to rest for a moment and come back up. But after practicing for a while, having the right form, really feel how you could be here for a while. That's what we're doing. We're learning about the body and the best way to utilize it so that we can do what we want for years. Nice. So if I bring that left arm forward, coming to my arms coming skyward without changing the legs, I just moved from Warrior 2 to Warrior 1. So I didn't change the legs. But if I lift up the heel and turn the toes towards the top of the mat, just that slight movement helps me with balance, helps me with flexibility. And I move from warrior one to crescent. And I slowly come down. Again, building strength. Work against your body weight. Step forward. 2 steps or 1. Left foot to right. Forward fold. Remember, the weight shifts to the heels. The back stays long. The crown of the head drives forward. Body stretch. Remember, you can bend to the back if that feels good, but slip to the heel. So you really want to see those good bones if you bend to the back. The arms drop gently to the side. Again, step in. Take a breath. Notice your thoughts. Notice your emotions. Notice that energy. Same thing on the opposite side. So now we come to a sun salutation on the left. Bring the arms guided. Slowing down. Forward fold. Hands come to your shins. Ardha Uttanasana. Hands come back down. Forward fold. It's my left knee now that comes up into the chest, and my left leg extends behind me, and I wiggle my right toes off to the very side, the right side of the mat. And I can set that back leg down again, or I can keep it up. My hands are on the inside of my foot. They're right underneath my shoulders, so it's very much like I'm in a plank with my foot off to the side. This is called lizard. And I want to really be just pressing against the ball of that back foot, pressing the heel out. My shoulders are relaxed. I feel the weight in my hands. My head and neck and face are relaxed. I want to keep the weight in that right foot. So push into the foot and energize. So in your mind, you're turning that big toe to the pinky. Your lizard. Now, to challenge, I would pick up my right hand and bring it back behind my back. If that's too much, I can rest it on my leg and put weight into the leg. Remember, putting weight into something is much less challenging than hovering. If I really wanted to challenge, I can rotate gently to the right and come to that twist. Much like a side plank with your right foot forward. When I release my arm back down, I wiggle my foot in and I come to my lunge and I step back, right foot to left, downward facing dog. Go ahead and bend one knee and then the other. Maybe bend both knees together. Maybe really lengthen through the back, stretch through the arms. And then flow forward to a plank and lower the legs down to your king cobra. Now, just like when we were standing, and it may have felt good to bend through the back, when you're in your king cobra, if it feels good to lift the heart and bend through the back, that's fine, but squeeze the gluteus and be very aware of any strain here, because you can easily strain your back here by hyperextending. That's why we always squeeze the gluteus. It helps us from coming back too far. Now, to work on the arms a bit, I'm going to lift the lower body up, parallel the body over the floor. Elbows come in and they slowly bend so that I come down to the mat slowly in my reverse push-up. Then I lift my heart, level out my head and neck, light weight in my hands. I came right into baby cobra, Ujjayi Asana. I can move a little further here, bringing my arms back behind me, lifting up the feet, maybe even the knees, depends on how my back feels. In my Salabhasana, locust pose, if I bring my arms in and hover my palms over my sit bones, I'm going to really feel that in the triceps. And I'm very mindful again of my head, neck, my face. That's all relaxed so that I don't cause any strain. And then I release the legs down, release the hands back under the shoulders, elbows draw inward, and I push to my king cobra. then my plank, and then my down dog. Stretch that back out that you've strengthened. Now it's the left leg that climbs skyward, the left knee comes in, and the left foot steps forward. And remember, you probably won't, maybe you do, but if you don't step your foot perfectly to be underneath your knee, grab onto your ankle and move it that way. Again, I can set the back leg down if that feels better. So I want to wiggle that left foot off to the edge of the mat. Then my hands are directly under my shoulders. So here, if my back leg is down, I'm getting a great stretch with that hip flexor. If I pick up the leg and push against the ball of the foot, then I'm building a little more strength. I'm working against that body weight, lengthening the leg out. I can stay right here. I can challenge by picking that left arm up, feeling that weight in my right hand. Remember, if it bothers my hand or my wrist, I can make a fist. I can also twist to the left here. Breathe. Keep that weight in that front foot and keep dialing it out. Those small little movements that when we do that, we can benefit our stretch, our strengthening, benefit it so much more. So just that mind-body connection of thinking about turning the big toe to the pinky engages all of those connective tissues up in the leg. Okay, walk that left foot in, bring that left hand down, step back from your left with your left foot to your right into your down dog. Always good to stretch through your back once you've strengthened it. And then slowly walk the feet forward. And I always say slowly and softly, because again, the less weight you put into a limb, the more your core works. Shift the weight to the heels, keep the back long, drive the crown of the head forward as you come up. Work swan dive in your hand and at heart center. Moment. Again. Check out for a few moments. We already went into this afternoon's meeting. Nice meal this week. Try to stay as present as you can. Then we move into balance. Not that we haven't already done quite a bit of balance, but I always like to have a specific portion for balance. So I want to pick up the right foot. This is balance. If I stay right here, just like this is enough to train the brain to be normal here, because that's what we're doing. The brain is very normal here. I want to lift up a foot and make it normal here, so that when you have to do it, you can easily adapt. Then I want to lift the knee up as high as I can. When I do, I feel the pelvic bones tilt back, forward, kind of back and forth at the same time. Comes back, presses forward, lifting the knee up, really feeling that core tighten. And if I extend through my leg, pressing through the sole of the foot, feeling that quadricep engage, then bring that leg back, cover the body over the floor. Pelvic bones focus to the mat. Breathe. Now I want to come on up slowly. I'm going to do all that again, but I'm going to add the arms. Now, lifting the arms, lift the knee. Remember, reach with fingers, soften through shoulders. Now the arms extend out, so does the leg. And then drawing the leg back, easing the arms forward, keeping that pelvic bone, knee, and toenail focused to the mat. Came right into warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Then slowly come up and try not to set that foot down till you come all the way up. Wonderful. Balance work, strength work, flexibility work, and very much mind work. Because whether you noticed it or not, you're probably very quickly focused on something. So it's almost like a standing meditation. So very much that mind-body connection when we balance. All right, same thing on the opposite side. So I pick the foot up. Now, if I'm new to balance work, I can keep my toes close to the mat. Don't have to bring the knee up high at all. So I want to bring in the core. And if I've been working on my balance a little bit, maybe I want to lift the knee, draw the navel in, relax through my shoulders. Maybe then I want to extend through the legs, strengthening that quadricep, strengthening the ankle that you're on. Then bringing that leg slightly and slowly back. Remember, pelvic bone to the floor, kneecap to the floor, toenail to the floor. So in other words, I'm not lifting that hip. Then I come back up. Now, bring the arms into play. Arms come up, knee comes up. Reach with fingers, soften through shoulders. Arms extend out, leg extends out. I cannot tell you how important it is to practice some type of balance work every day, because we are all losing balance, our ability to balance, the older we get. So we need to practice every day. Leg comes behind, arms come in front. We move right into warrior 3. And we slowly come up, trying not to set that leg down if we can help it till we get all the way up. Nice. Moving right into a tree pose just for a moment. I'm picking up my right leg, and I never put the sole of my foot on my knee, but I can put it on the ankle. I can keep my toes to the mat, or I can put the sole of my foot on my ankle, my shin, never on the knee. I can pick it up, pull it up high here, be in my Vrikshasana tree pose. I can even extend my arms, as they say, letting your branches grow. With fingers, softening through shoulders, and trees sway, so we do too sometimes. So it's okay if you're moving back and forth. Then extend that leg out, coming to a 5-pointed star. The head being the 5th point, and shake it out. Tree pose is such a great posture. Again, building strength, flexibility, helping balance, but it's a very peaceful and meditative posture as well. So as you practice tree pose and you begin to get better at it, you may want to try to close the eyes, and you know how involved vision is with our balance. So it does make a huge difference. Make sure you're somewhere safe and nothing that you can fall into or hurt yourself. But you can begin to start to slowly close the eyes for a few minutes. Again, a very meditative, peaceful posture. Chin with fingers, not shoulders, because we don't want to strain through the shoulder. And then slowly letting go of the leg, coming into your 5-pointed star. Remember, we don't lean. We try to keep the crown of the head skyward. And release. Great job. Come to the top of your mat. We'll wind this practice down today. Skyward. Swan dive down, forward fold, long back, tight core, slight bend in the knee. Uttanasana, forward fold. As we bring our hands up to our shins and keep our back long, our core is really tight, holding the upper body up. This is our Ardha Uttanasana, Ardha meaning half, so Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. And then we ease the hands back down, and then we can either set one knee down on the mat and then the other, or if we choose, we can make our gait a little wider and press the sit bones down and come to that seated squat. Now that's not for everybody, so again, if you need to set one knee down and then the other to come to the mat, do that. Use your crab walk to come to the center of your mat. And it's always a good thing to work our triceps in the back of our arms, because we don't do things in our normal daily activities. Now, again, if your hands and wrists bother you, or if you have issues there, you can make a fist, or you could actually come down here to your forearms. It's a whole different ball game, but modify as needed. So your hands underneath your shoulders, your fingers are looking forward. And of course here, I'm holding my body up. So I'm working against body weight again. I notice how my pelvic area tilted, my core is tight. Way to bring the triceps in though is to start bending through your elbows. So the more I bend through my elbows, I feel that good tension, and drive the elbows in so that they're coming in towards the body. Then push and lift. And if you can, lift all the way up, bringing a nice straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Even rock the head back if that feels good. And then come back to where you were. Now again, maybe I don't want to bend the elbows. Maybe that's too much. I want to bring those triceps in though. Bend the elbows. Try to keep those hips and sit bones off the mat. Then one more time, lift up, lengthen, feel that stretch, the bicep in front of the arm, and then come back. Bend through elbows, tight core, hover the sit bones, and last time, push up, lengthen. Nice, and as I come back, now I'm gonna push my sit bones towards my heels and lower my upper body down. If your heels moved away from your sit bones, walk them up. You want them as close as you can get them to your sit bones. Your arms are along your side, your palms are down. Your feet are hip width apart and your knees are hip width apart. And then you begin to push into the feet and lift the sit bones up. So we came right into Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. I want to keep my gaze to the ceiling. I want to really be pushing into the feet. So really use the muscles in your legs, in your gluteus. I'm pushing into the feet and I'm also dialing them out if I can. So that energizing, that mind-body connection. Remember, it's like you're turning them outward, but you're not really moving them. But you feel that all the way up the leg and into the gluteus. And you feel that good stretch in the trunk of the body. Your head and face stays looking at the ceiling so that you don't compromise your cervical spine. You can lift the heels up off the floor and push into the balls of the feet. That causes you to squeeze and tighten the gluteus and the core a little more because you took weight off. Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. And then I slowly ease the buttocks down. I pick up the right leg and I place the outer portion of that shin on top of the left leg, coming to that piriformis stretch. I want to press my lower back into the mat, and I could even pick up my left foot and draw my left knee in to really stretch around the outside of that outer thigh and up into the gluteus. I can even grab onto the back of my left leg and give it a little pull here, just a slight pulling forward. Really feeling that great stretch in the upper portion of that right leg. And this is great for your piriformis to get a good stretch too. Anytime you make the number 4, you're helping to stretch that piriformis muscle, and that really helps to keep it up off of that sciatic nerve. Nice, so I set my left leg down and I raise my right leg skyward, pressing the sole to the ceiling. And if I'm able, I want to slowly allow that right leg to just flare out to the right, but try to keep the rest of the body the same. So I'm trying to keep my left hip bone focused to the ceiling, and I'm working against the weight of my right leg. And if it's too much to hover it, then I cradle it in my hand. But if I can, I want to really work against gravity by trying to extend and push the sole of the foot out to the right and keep that left hip bone skyward. Doesn't take too long before that muscle starts to slightly quiver because you're fatiguing it, and that's good. That's where you're strengthening. Bring that leg back up and marry it with the opposite leg. Here's another inversion, a mild one, but another inversion up the wall. You can turn through your ankles, wiggle through your toes, flex and point your feet. Up the wall is such a great thing to do in the morning and at night. You can have a slight bend in the knee, but you're literally just helping to reverse the blood flow. It's an inversion, and it's very mild, but in any inversion, we still say keep the gaze to the ceiling. So now maybe I'm allowing the left leg to jet out slowly to the left, and again, I'm keeping that right leg skyward. I'm keeping that right pelvic bone focused to the ceiling. And if I can, I'm working against the weight of that left leg, hovering it over the mat. And my core, whether I know it or not, my core is really working to keep me from falling over. So your core is pretty tight here. So this is great core work as well. And then I slowly come back up. And now I set my right foot down and I place the left leg on top of the right leg, a number 4. So we come to that piriformis stretch on the left now. So now I can lift up my right foot and pull my right knee in. I can even grab behind my leg and strengthen with a little deeper stretch here. Breathe. And then I release, setting both feet down on the mat. Go ahead and take one foot to one edge of the mat and one to the other. Drop your right knee to your left inside the foot, so to the arch of the foot. And you first feel that stretch in the quadricep, and maybe that's good right there. If you want to go a little deeper, you can also drop the left leg, and then you feel that stretch move up into the psoas, up higher, that hip flexor. Again, another great exercise and posture to assume after you've been sitting in a meeting for long periods. Lift back up. It's the same thing on the opposite side. So now my left knee falls to my right foot. Maybe that's good, but maybe I want to drop my right knee as well. Feel it come a little higher up into that hip flexor, that psoas. So again, it's all what feels better for your body. And then last but not least, I want to glide that left knee over so it's right on top of my right. And I want to bring my gaze to the left. So I came to my twist. My knees are focused to the right, my gaze to the left. Remember, whenever you're coming out of a reclining twist, you want to use your core, not your back. So really tighten your core muscles and think about using the front core muscles to lift the legs up. Now we shift. Knees move to the left, gaze moves to the right. So now we're twisting over to the left. Such a great thing to give your body, not just to stretch the vertebra and the structural part of the body, but also the internal digestive system, creating that movement, bringing out those inner organs. It's very important to have movement all throughout and inside the body. So again, a tight core helps me to lift up and prevent any strain with my back. And I give my knees a hug and gently rock back and forth. Hopefully this won't be your last hug today. And then I slowly release one leg out in front of me and the other. And I find myself in Shavasana. And I allow the body to just fall into the position that it feels best in. That's why we call this corpse pose. You allow the body to become very limp, very relaxed. The face, body, the mind, the heart, everything just allowed to open, to release. We gently bring awareness back to the breath. We listen to what the body is calling on us to move first. Maybe fingers to wiggle, maybe a hand to make a fist and stretch, maybe a leg to lift and lengthen. When you're ready, you rotate onto one side or the other. You take a deep breath in, you press with the opposite arm and bring yourself up to that seated position. We recognize that we're on the same mat, we're in the same place, we're in the same position. We are not the same. You're stronger, you're more resilient, are more balanced, not only outside but within. Gave yourself that opportunity to check in. Bring your hands to heart center. Jai Shri Sakaru Bhakraj Ki means may the light of truth overcome all of darkness. I hope you move through this day and through this week with light, positivity, joy, and love, and peace. We always end our practice with that simple term, namaste. It simply means the light and life in me honors and respects light and life in each of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we will be back Friday morning at 7 a.m. So hope to see you there. Take care.
Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank all of you for being here. I appreciate you.